today, and I am doing based on watercolor brushes, and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts, my opinions on how these two different types of water brushes perform. You would think that water brushes would all be the same, but I've found that that actually isn't true, and it kind of surprised myself. So I'm going to show you some examples of watercoloring with them, and what I found with them, what I liked. Now remember, these are just my opinions, so you might find that you like different than what I do. That's okay. I just wanted to give you my opinion and give you a better idea of how these work, what you use them for, and the different ways they work and how one compares to the other, really. And today I will be using them with the watercolor pencils by Prima. These are brand new watercolor pencils and they're gorgeous. I'm just going to use the one set as I'm really just showing you a comparison in the water brushes for this video. Okay, so let's get started. When you first open up your Prima packaging of the water brushes, this is what you'll find, two. Now I already have water in here just to save us time, but they won't come with water obviously, and you will just remove the top part. And you'll find it's easy to fill up, and then you'll just put this right back on, and when you're ready to use them, take the lid off. It has a little area where it says push the water. It's going to bring it right down here, and you're going to have the water coming through your brush. Now with the two different ones, there is a large one and there's a thin brush. So this gives you more of the thicker bristles, where this one is a thinner brush, better for fine detail. Both do the same. You fill them up the same way, and you just push the water and it comes right out. I found this very easy. I like the look of them. They look really nice and professional. So that is the Prima watercolor brushes. Put the lids back on. Now we're going to talk about the Aquaflow water brush set. This comes in a set of 3. Very similar to the Prima. You just take the lid off, has an opening, pour the water in, screw the lid back on. Same thing again, where you just push where it says push. They make it all easy for you. Brings the water right down. I find that sometimes in the beginning you have to give a couple pushes. You don't want to squeeze too hard or you're going to have water droplets actually come out of the bottom. So you just need enough to where you feel a little water. You can test it on your skin first. You'll feel when the water comes down. Now with this set, since there are 3 brushes, they give you a little more options. There is the really thick, the medium brush, and the thin, smaller brush, better for detail. Okay, so now that we've gone over the packaging, let's get right to some examples. I've gone ahead and stamped as well as watercolored with the pencils already, just to show you what I found. And then I'm going to go ahead at the bottom, and I've got one more image here that I'm going to color for you to watch and see the difference. Now, I found with the Prima, I tended to get a more watered down look. I squeezed the same amount when I was doing both, but like I said, I'm going to show you again an example of me actually doing it so you can see the difference. You'll notice with the Aquaflow water brush set, the colors are a little more vibrant. It pulled the colors over more. It kind of mixed. I felt like the Prima kind of muddied the colors. Now I colored the exact same colors, the same amount on both before I watercolored with either one. I did feel like I wasn't sure. I thought at first that when I was first doing it that I was going to end up liking the Prima water pens better, but I found myself liking the Aquaflow water brush set after I took a look at what my examples turned out like. I feel like my colors are brighter on these, and I feel like they're muddier, more pulled together, maybe just a softer look. So if that's something you like, that's totally fine. It's all based on opinion. It's what you like, what you feel comfortable working with. I'm just giving you some options and showing you how I used the product. Now, I've got these gifts down at the bottom here. This is just the Tim Holtz set that I used. And my Primas that I got from the Nanny Keola scrapbooking store, which she has all of the brand new sets. So yay, I was so excited when she got those in. Now I'm going to show you how these pens work and differ. I'm going to do the Prima over here, so I'm going to write that down so we can see and remember what I'm working with. Here's the Prima set over here, and then I'm going to use the Aquaflow brushes on this side. Okay, now to make this as even as possible, I'm going to use the thin of the Prima, and I would say the medium matches the closest to width and style of brush to the Prima thin one, because the smaller one is really thin on here and a short bristles, if you can see. So I'm definitely going to go with this one to get the best similarities and to really see the differences here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and color. I want to use brighter colors so it's easier for you to see the differences. I think I'll use a yellow, and let's do a red bow. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and with these I'm just going to color. I tend to put more color where the shading is, obviously. That's what they teach you to do. This stamp set specifically has great shading already shown on there for you, so you know where to put the most color and where to make the color the heaviest. Now, so that I do it exactly the same, I'm going to color on this one as well. Once again, I'm just following the lines on the stamp, putting the most color down. Noticed over here, I need to put a little over here. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and color, actually I'm going to go ahead and use the brushes at this point. So, I'm going to start with the Prima. I'm going to give a little squeeze. Saw the water go down into here. And now I can feel it on my hand. I'm going to go ahead, and it really saves you. You don't have to worry about dipping your brush because the water is constantly coming out as you move it around your paper. And you can see all the color spread nicely. And the water just keeps at a constant flow. Okay, so that was with the Prima. Now I'm going to come over here and use the Aquaflow. I'm going to give it a little squeeze. Come in here and go over it with the water. Okay, let's move on to our next color while that color is drying. And you can kind of already see how the color is slightly darker on this one than on this one, but let's keep going. Okay, so we're going to use the red. Just going to go right over. I love watercolors because you don't actually have to be the greatest colorist. You just have to get color on there and then you're going to move it around with your brush. So I'm going over all those lines again. That's where I want most of the color. The rest of the part I'm just going to use the water to pull the color out. Go over these on this one. Same way I did the other one. I'm looking at both to make sure I get the color in both areas the right way so it's similar. Need to put a little color on this side of the bow. Okay, that looks about even. I'm going to go in with the Prima on this one. Just going to color. I tend to color my darkest areas first. Well, water color my darkest areas first, and then pull them out towards the other areas. Just pulls that color, keeps it concentrated where I wanted it, but still pulls the color out for the rest of it. I find that both of them work just as well with pulling color out. There is no real big difference. And honestly, the difference in these two is not huge. If it doesn't bother you, or if you don't really see a huge difference here, that's okay. I just wanted to further explain how they work and what you might see as far as results, depending on which one you choose to purchase. Okay, so that's the Prima. I'm going to go in here with the Aquaflow. Now I am not squeezing or pushing on this water brush while I do this. You only need to push it in the very beginning, and then the water is going to be there. If you find you need more water while you're painting, I would squeeze it first off to the side and do it on your hand like I've been doing. I wouldn't just squeeze, or you're gonna stand a chance of having the water drip onto your project and possibly causing the color to blend or go somewhere you don't want it. Okay, so even though they're both still a little wet, you can see the difference. I feel like the way I see it, I see this one as being brighter. The color is brighter, whereas this one is a duller look. It's not a huge difference. Again, it's really hard to see. You might be able to see it better in person than you can on the camera, but I'm just showing you how these work, how they both work, the differences, and maybe it'll help you decide which one you would prefer to work with. As far as the Prima watercolor pencils go, love them. They're beautiful. For the price, they work awesome. So if you are someone who wants to dabble in getting watercolor sets, I would highly suggest getting the basics set to begin with and playing with it and seeing if you like it. It has all of your primary colors that you need for most things. And then if you end up liking these, you can delve into the other sets and get more colors, and you can get more layering and more shading when you're working with them. So once again, this is Lisa with the Nanny Keola blog, and I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinions. Thank you for stopping by on the Prima watercolor brush set. as well as the Aqua Flow watercolor brush sets. You can find both of these available in the Nanny Keola store right now. Thank you. Bye.